All right, I'm just gonna go live.
Okay, I
Yeah,
think.
we are live. Yeah, we are live. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone. So today is our last live workshop. But you know what? What's super amazing is that we are actually going to keep chatting with you for the next couple of weeks because we want to make sure that you are, fully committed to your goal, to your health goals, to your wellness, to everything, your self-care, all of that. But not only that, your sleep, your stress, everything that we spoke about for the last couple of weeks. And it is, oh my goodness, tomorrow is our last day. Tomorrow is day 21. So you have one more day tomorrow, and then it's the weekend. But again, do not forget all of the things that we learned during these 3 weeks. So you can enjoy a little bit of sugar, not too much, because that might make you a little bit, might give you a headache or a little bit of stress the next day, bloating. So don't worry, we have you covered for that. And that's why we're bringing you today a goal setting workshop. But not only that, but really what is happening after and how you can carry on and not forget about this. Because again, this is not just a 21-day detox where you just forget about it. This is something that you can carry for the rest of your life. So awesome.
All right. Well, I am going to share my screen. Naz, can you see?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So let me just move you over here. So welcome, everyone. I'm like Naz and I are just like she said, this is not goodbye or anything like that. We're excited to have us kind of continue to interact with all of you because we want to know how you do even afterwards. So it's not only during the 3 weeks that is important. It's good to kind of see and learn what you want to take on with you in the next 3 weeks, but actually living through it is what's important. So before we get into it, I do want to congratulate all of you for not only participating in something that is really challenging in itself for even a week, but you guys did it for 3 weeks. So please, please reward yourself with like either a pat on the back or a treat like a dark chocolate or a massage or whatever that may be. Just don't forget to celebrate this win. And I know that Naz and I are we really encourage you, no matter what, to celebrate the small wins as well. And I think a lot of us kind of look at, the end goal and you kind of skip all the in between progress that you've made, but progress is key. Progress is what helps you continue on and be excited about, right? If you dread the process, then you're actually not going to make progress and you're not going to be able to hit your outcome. So you're probably wondering, what next? What do we do now, right? Do we go back to our, previous ways? And we want to share with you just a few strategies in terms of, what you want to take on, right? Because you can, of course, depending on what you removed, you can start to bring stuff back. So maybe you chose to kind of stay away from sweets altogether, including natural sweets. And of course, we didn't take off fruits or anything like that. We just stuck to kind of like more the refined foods. But if you did decide to take away, berries or something, you can slowly bring that back. As Naz says, we want you to slowly introduce it and incorporate it in, right? We don't want you to kind of shock your system right away from just like going to town on like an ice cream sundae or anything like that. We want to make sure that we introduce some foods you've been missing because it's important to do that actually over the next 7 days is what is preferred. So, it's really important to really take a slow, strategic approach to reintroducing certain foods that you might have detoxed from, right? And you want to listen to your body and how your body reacts to certain foods that you actually do introduce, because for the last 3 weeks your body has gone through a lot of changes. It has, detoxed itself from certain things, and it probably has already started communicating with you, whether it be better sleep, better skin, higher energy, all those things. They tell a story of how you're doing. So as you're introducing certain foods, you might discover that you may not want to continue, like you may not even want it anymore, because of the difference that you felt while you were not consuming it versus now when you start to introduce it. So really focus on that being, something that you keep in mind post detox, is how do you feel? Like, listen to your body, how it responds, and even journal, right? Journal in terms of how, your sleep, your energy. Like, you may be better off completely, like not even introducing it. And we want to find a balance of what works for you in the long run, where you can, make healthy choices most of the time, and then, without getting derailed occasionally and then feeling guilty about it. So that's what we don't want. We don't want kind of that guilt or that shame. And we always circle back to, self-love and releasing that negative, energy and thoughts and self-sabotage that we talked about the first week. So when you know how your body responds to certain foods, it's easier for you to navigate which choices are worth it for you to keep and which aren't. And your body is your best friend. Your body will be able to share with you what is going on, your bowel movements, all of those things. So just be aware of how your body is. So I want to ask you, do you feel like when it comes to certain foods that everything in moderation is okay? True or false, right? So you could answer in the comments when you watch the replay, or if you're watching live right now. And sometimes it is true and sometimes it is false. So it also depends on who you are. So for some people, you may take one bite of something, processed or not as healthy, and it'll send you on like a binge fast where you can't stop, and you just, your body suddenly got taken over by someone else and you just can't stop eating. And for some other people, you can take a small bite and it satisfies your craving, and then that's it. So it's important for you to also be aware of, who are you? Like, are you the type of person that can actually have it in moderation and that's okay? Or are you someone that actually, like, when it comes to sugar, once I have a little taste of it, I go to town? And then it's important for you to know that, so that you can make those choices for when something comes up, whether it's worth it for you or not, right? Sometimes, like, you might even realize that you're, again, because you're better off without it, you're like, it's not even worth it for me to even take that. I'm going to substitute it for something else. And that's the goal. We want to substitute, not take out completely. There's obviously ways that we can, have sweets in our life, but in probably the less refined way, or, a less processed way. There is no right or wrong answer when it comes to that. Just going back to, at the end of the day, you don't want to, have a little bit in moderation and then feel like you're going to town on what you're eating and then feel guilty about it, because it ends up being this like negative, cyclical self-sabotage. And that is just not what we want. And that's why diets don't work. Diets don't work because they focus on the all or nothing mentality. And when you are not allowing yourself to even have a little bit of something, that's when you want it even more. But understanding it and being aware of how you react personally to it is what's key.
I love that, Jeannie. I love, especially when you mentioned about the habits, and also really not understanding that diets doesn't really work, especially like not one diet fits everyone, right? And so then when we have this craving of, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds this month, so I'm going to go and follow some kind of diet that, whoever created this it might work. And actually, a lot of times it does for like a month, and then you just go back into that cycle again. And do you want to keep doing that? I hope the answer is no, because yo-yo dieting is really taxing on our health, on our mental health, and especially our gut. And then everything falls on in there. Like our stress, our self-care falls down, self-esteem falls down, everything does. So I really, really love that. I love that you mentioned that.
Awesome, Naz. All right. So there's a couple of, more strategies we want to also think about, because everyone's really different. I think I stressed that during this workshop, that everyone's different. So sometimes you might hit a couple of what you think are roadblocks or something along the way that might throw you off track, so to speak, right? Some people like to be on a plan. So maybe for the last 3 weeks, you're like, okay, I'm on plan. And now that the challenge is over, I feel like I'm off a plan and I don't know what to do. So, the best strategy for that is to decide which elements of the program you want to continue to follow and which ones you'll be more flexible with. We want to introduce flexibility into the next week because, again, if we are creating a lifestyle, we want it to make it work for you and you only. So, following other people's diet and what has worked for them to lose X amount of weight may not be for you, right? Everyone is built differently, bio individuality, all that stuff comes into play. So we want to make sure that you take what works for you, and you don't have to follow every single thing, right? Hopefully, all the pillars that we talked about, you were able to learn from it, and we hope that you can apply it to everything that you take on in the future. That's what we're hoping for. But of course, if it doesn't work for you, be flexible and decide what is it that you want to be flexible about. Maybe you're someone that misses the structure. You miss kind of having the, just knowing for the week what to expect, having the recipes, having, the meals prepped, all that stuff, down packed for those 3 weeks. And, without those rules, sometimes you feel like you don't quite know how to achieve that balance that you want to achieve. So the best plan for that would be to either collaborate or find an accountability partner, or a group with similar, goals, just such as this. We came together, we all had a goal to remove the added sugar from our lifestyle for 3 weeks, and we're encouraging each other, we're motivating each other. Same thing could happen post detox, post challenge as well. And like Naz says, we're here for you. We're definitely not going to just like drop you and be like, okay, see you later. We are always going to be here to support and assist you. Anyone that is part of our world is going to continue to be part of our world. And that's just the way that Naz and I are as coaches. So another thing is you can work with us, continue to work with us. Naz has one-on-one, I have one-on-one. You can definitely continue to, whoever resonates with you, you can go deeper and further if you're looking for more support. Okay. And then we also have something that we wanted to share with you at the end of this workshop, but we can go through it afterwards. But definitely just know that you are not left hanging at the end of the day. So maybe you realize that you are someone that you want to make your own rules. You want to, do your own thing, that you found the challenge was actually a bit restrictive and there was too many rules involved, and it wasn't sustainable for your lifestyle. And that's okay too. I mean, knowing that your best bet is to decide which healthy habits you want to stick to and continue to learn and increase your knowledge on why avoiding sugar, foods like wheat and soy, is something worth continuing, right? I think the more knowledge that you know about something, the more you can make empowered choices. You don't know what you don't know. And sometimes if you consume certain content that really gives you the facts of why it may not be, as suitable for your lifestyle, it might just naturally deter you from wanting to have or reintroduce certain foods back into your life. Another version of you that you might be feeling is you want to be free as a bird, right? So you're really proud that you stuck with it for 3 weeks, right? And you didn't feel like it was overly restrictive. You felt like it was just moderate and just as it should be, which is great. But now you're wondering, what is the next best thing for me moving forward? You're trying to identify, what is it about the challenge or completing this program and eating healthy? How is it going to be? Like, what am I going to do with it? Right? Like, is this who I want to continue to be? Maybe your energy is higher. Maybe, maybe you want to be that high energy person, right? Establishing who you want to be is actually very important. It's part of the identity that we want to create for ourselves. We don't know where we're starting from. We don't know who we want to be. We're so fixated on the outcome. It's not going to be enough of a motivation for you to want to continue on with certain things, right? So if making those healthy choices allows you to be that person, so if you want to always put your best foot forward and be the best version of yourself, and having that identity, then what are the certain habits and lifestyles that you need to adopt in order to do that? As do you have anything to add so far?
No, I think you nailed that down. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. So there's some short-term strategies as well for balancing healthy eating, because you are going to come across things where you have now and then indulgences, especially as the holiday comes in. Right now, this is like prime time. This is where most people tend to overindulge, right, a little bit. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. It's the holidays, you want to enjoy it. There's so much celebration that's about to happen. But it's good to, again, going back to what we said in previous pillars, to be guarded for unguarded situations. So maybe in the moment something comes up and someone offers you something that is more indulgent, there are a couple of ways that you can kind of strategize around it, whether it be saying no and passing on whatever you're being offered, having kind of like a couple of one-liners that you can say to people, and just remember that it's not about you, right? Like, it's not like it's sorry, I meant to say it's not really about them, right? It's about what you want, right? And what sometimes we get in our heads, and we feel like you're hurting someone's feelings. And that's when you're also self-sabotaging yourself, because you're allowing their feelings to occupy your mind and not really noticing what is just happening in the moment, right? That you just don't want it, period. Or maybe you want a few bites, right? Maybe you do, maybe you discover that you are someone that could have something in moderation, which is great. And if that were the case, then take a few bites, move on. If it wasn't good, you also don't have to finish it. In the past, we were really conditioned as kids and stuff to finish our plate, finish every last morsel on your dish. And even now myself, I don't really share that with my children anymore. Like, I realize that sometimes, people feel the need to overconsume and not really listen to their body. And if they reach a point when they're already full, really, that's kind of when you should stop, right? Or even like right before you're full. And then that also, as Naz mentioned, is all about mindful eating. So just discovering if you're moderate, if you're able to, and then not finishing it if you don't want to. And, and then lastly, if you really want it, again, just eat it. Right? Enjoy the moment. Move on afterwards. Don't allow yourself to sit in guilt or shame or anything like that, because it does not serve you. There's none of those feelings are going to make you have that positive energy that you need to make that next decision. When you're in that moment, you're self-sabotaging, then you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, what's the point then? I'm just going to continue down this. Like, I've already had, a slice of cake. I might as well have also this, and this, but it doesn't have to be. You can just stick to having a little bit of that, and that's it. Enjoy it and move on. Next, when it comes to meals, maybe whether it be meals at a restaurant or, if you're traveling, use the restaurant tip sheet that we provided for you. That will be helpful for you to kind of be more prepared as you go to restaurants. And, those things actually become a lot easier as you incorporate them in your lifestyle, you'll just know what to do, right? You'll know, what to order instead. It's only really in the very beginning where you're like, okay, you know what? Because you're so used to the way that you've been at a restaurant. And so this tip sheet would allow you to kind of slowly incorporate certain things that you can substitute, and you can ask the waiter in advance or get into the habit of looking at the menu beforehand would be helpful as well. And that's where, point number 2 comes in, is deciding the meals before, right? Either deciding, well, there's 3 things. You decide, what you're going to eat before and after the restaurant, right? What are those meals like? Are you going to have a healthy, start, and then maybe you want to indulge in the restaurant a little bit, and then have at the end of the night have something healthy as well, or you want to be prepared and know what's ahead in the restaurant, right? So that requires you to kind of look at the menu online or and figure out what you want to do. And then at the end of the day, just return to your healthy choices with no guilt or shame, right? I think sometimes because of the all or nothing mentality, we feel like we messed up. We feel like we are now off plan and off track. So there's no use in continuing. But at the end of the day, if that's probably your clutch, right? Because if you stop there, that's when we stop, right? That's where none of the benefits that you'll see from having a healthy lifestyle will continue. And even though you've made a choice to indulge, it is okay. It is great, right? You need to have balance in your life in order to be happy, in order to enjoy life, but also be healthy. And the lastly is the meal or 2. So maybe this means like not being able to cook, or maybe you're traveling, right? So maybe a few meals are thrown off a little bit. So, what we recommend is to be prepared. Maybe go grocery shopping ahead of time, pack your pantry with things that, are what is like a better type of oil, more natural, less processed, making sure that you have a couple of frozen meals ahead of time. We talked about batch cooking, freezing. Make sure you're having 1 to 2 protein, maybe make a big salad, maybe have frozen cauliflower, maybe have, rice and eggs, something that's really easy, so that it's very easy to either prepare or whip up, so that you're not caught in a situation where you're just grabbing whatever is in front of you, right? Because that's kind of where sometimes it's a slippery slope. You want to be prepared. Again, if you were to take anything away from this challenge, it's really finding what works for you in the long run. And this challenge will help you kickstart this process and make it easier to get to a place where sugar doesn't run your life, but you need to live through more of it afterwards, right? You need to see how you feel post-challenge. It's great to sometimes be on something as a kickstart, jumpstart, all that stuff, but who are you after the challenge, right? Who do you want to be? What's going to happen? That needs to play out afterwards for you to apply the strategies that we talked about here. We armed you with the tools, the strategies, the knowledge, but are you going to actually apply it, right? And what makes sense for you to? Is it worth it or is it not? If you're someone that loves beer, for example, right? Maybe that's something you want to go back to, but maybe finding like a more healthier alternative, perhaps, right? Because you're going to experience up and down when it comes to eating foods, whether they work well for you or not, whether physically or emotionally. You're going to come across a time where, you're going to have these situations that will not be as easy. If you're at home and you have control, that's great, but not everything is in our control, right? As we've learned. So the best thing we can do is learn to control what we can't control and be prepared as much as possible. As your coaches, we feel that you can be healthy and eat mostly real, whole foods that keep you grounded in a lifestyle that is largely sugar-free, while you're able to sometimes enjoy treats without, going out of control. Right? That's how we feel. We are big on balance. We are big on sustainability. We want you to, and we're also big on you, feeling good about your choices. So at the end of the day, that's where we stand. But of course, going back to all the strategies, you have to find what works for you. So now wrapping up that section of like the post strategies, I really wanted to, quickly just talk about, as it pertains to goal setting, what it means to have a vision statement, okay, for your life. And this is a little bit about the reversing our, health goals and what we want. Oftentimes we set out a goal, right? We want to do like this, but we haven't established why we want to do it. We haven't established like, who you want to be while you're doing it, and what is the big picture. So many different things that, and having that vision, right? Just like how a company has a vision statement, you need a vision statement for your own life, right? Because we need to know where our efforts are going. What are we trying to achieve and pursue? So, today's affirmation or quote, as I should say, is really create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life. You become what you become what you believe is what it should say, right? You become what you believe. Right. That is so important. And that's why vision mapping is very, very key. And Naz and I in the future will be, hosting vision mapping and all this in greater detail. But we want to make sure that you understand that, you need to have a vision for what you want to do, right? It's important to have that because it will back up your goals and you'll be able to do the work consistently as you begin to see your vision unfold, because that's what we want. We want to be headed towards, this destination, right? And just this big picture of your why, right? Your major why. So questions that you could ask yourself is, you could even plan for the year. These are just some suggestions. You can journal, but you can ask yourself what your top 3 intentions are to describe your best self. Right? Everyone has a different definition of what best self means to them. Your top 5 personal goals, your 5 professional goals, your 2 big goals of the year, your must-dos for the week, your action steps toward those goals for the week or towards, the month or towards your quarter or towards the year, right? It's helpful to actually break it down. Your monthly wins. How did you progress towards your goal? And what worked and didn't work, right? Those are some questions that you can journal out and ask yourself in order to come to this conclusion of what you want, right? This, at the end of the day, all comes back to you are the creator of your own life. Sometimes people get into the habit of getting into that victim mentality where when things happen, they feel like it's the world against them, when in actuality, we either create or allow everything to happen in our life. So when you can take ownership and responsibility for this, you shift the way that you think, you shift the way that you feel, and you shift the way that you act, those are the 3 things that you actually do have control over, right? So just remember that you're 100% accountable for it, and it feels, whatever decision feels insignificant today actually can have a huge effect on your future. And we don't think of it sometimes. We're like, oh, even when it comes to good stuff, it's like, what's a little gonna do? What's a little gonna do? Or even the opposite end, where you're doing things that, are maybe some bad habits you've created. You think a little bit won't hurt, but it actually all adds up. All of this adds up. So it's important to, maybe delay a decision. We're so, as humans, we have this need to want instant gratification, right? And delaying that decision-making and delaying that gratification is what builds self-discipline, which is a hard one for people, right? To build that self-discipline, but it does take practice. So maybe repeatedly putting things off until later, or, if you have that craving, for example, you can also distract yourself and, not seek that, dopamine reward that you're craving, and do something else that will also give you the same, boost. And make good choices now for a better, future later. The biggest thing to remember is also having a why. What is your big why, right? So having that vision, allows you to know where you want to go. Having that why is your purpose, your cause, your belief that drives you, but it has to be bigger than you, right? So for me, for example, it's my family, it's my children, it's being alive for them, and not only alive, but being energetic, being highly motivated. Like when I am sleeping well, when I'm eating well, when I am, moving in the way that I want to, when I feel happy and fulfilled, all those things, that is my why. I want to do that for my children. I want to do that. I want to be that person forever. Right? Naz, what's your big why?
Well, my big why is almost the same as you, because we both have children, right? Like
Yeah.
I want my children to see that they can actually live this life that they want. They can move their body in ways that makes them feel good. And I want that, I want them to see that from their mom and deliver that to their future children as well. It's like this ripple effect that you can create. So that's my biggest why for me. But also, I also want to live a long life. I want to live a long life without worrying about any disease, or, I want to prevent that holistically, by adding natural things to my body, taking care of my body, removing toxins, and maybe hopefully not seeing a doctor.
So good. Very true. I love all your whys. I love all of it. So part of your why is having that belief I was sharing with you, right? So, it is very important to recognize, like, belief is something that it really is the foundation for your outcome, what you want to achieve. And sometimes we are believing something that isn't true. We are conditioned a certain way because of our previous experience or opinions from other people or society, whatever it may be, that is forming our belief system that we've taken on. So we've taken on other people's opinions and all that stuff, and we've created our belief system. So it's really important to create a new belief system for yourself, especially when it comes to your health, right? You have the power to, really believe in yourself, especially, like, we just came out of a really, interesting, year and a bit or 2 years, right? And if someone were to tell you that long time ago, you would have been like, no way I've been able to, do X, Y, and Z. But I'm sure everyone has come out of this stronger, right? More resilient. So, same thing with your belief system. You have to believe that you're able to achieve something in order for you to actually take that action. And recognizing that is the first stage of hitting your health and wellness goals, is believing that you can do it, and probably believing that you can do more than you think, because we all as humans are truly stronger than we think. And I think women, their bodies are amazing and they do so much that we don't give it credit. So we need to just believe that whatever happens, our body will be able to handle it and we will be able to achieve that goal. Next, it's important, if there are anything from your past that is, maybe interfering with how you feel currently, connect with it, connect with what that source is and identify it and call it out. Because if not, then we're not aware of it and we're just like letting it kind of run the show. We're kind of living on autopilot when we don't know that something happened in the past, and that's why it's affecting your decision today on certain things. And once you realize that and realize it has nothing to do with the present, you'll learn to maybe cut the tie, and you'll create a new belief system that is not connected to your past, but has everything to do with your present and your future self. The next one is really designing, your lifestyle and what you want. Going back to what I said earlier, finding what works for you. That's what's important. Finding what works for you so that you can continue to implement it in your life on a daily basis. And if you feel like you are stuck on some limiting beliefs, you can try an exercise where maybe you just take a piece of paper, you divide, put a line in the middle, and on one end you put all your limiting beliefs, like, the things that you feel like you can't achieve or that are impossible for you, and then ask yourself whether it's true or not, right? Because a lot of times what you think is a belief is actually not true. It's very false. But until we actually put it down on paper and like see it, doesn't feel real. We, all this is in our head and we're not writing it down. It feels way more organized when we write it down. And so to recognize it, call it out, be aware of it, record it, right? Review it, evaluate it, right? And then that's how you can reframe it. If you do all those things, you can turn the script around and revise it. Because if it's not something that is tied to your current and it doesn't serve you and has nothing to do with it, then we need to create a new truth. That the past is the past, and that today you are making the decision to implement self-care, to implement good quality sleep, to implement healthy living, because you want to be the best version of yourself because of your why, right? And the next part is finding your why, which I had talked about in the previous slide, because it is so important. Oftentimes people that don't have a why just again are a little bit on autopilot because they don't know why they're doing the things that they're doing. And then the last one is really just taking action. And that really starts by just starting. The art of starting is actually key. And a lot of people wait until they're ready, but starting before you're ready is what will work, because you're never really going to fully feel ready. And your mind is always going to talk you out of something that is outside of your comfort zone. So if you're trying something new and it feels like foreign to you, you're not going to want to continue it, because you feel like, oh, you're nervous, or what if this happens? All these worst case scenarios come up for you. So, knowing that you just need to start, that there's never a right time, and starting with maybe the easiest task first, so that you're able to create that momentum, see that result, create that motivation for you to want to continue, and then go on repeat, right? Take on a little bit every single day, that habit stacking that we talked about, take a little bit on every single day. And then before you know it, you have an entire lifestyle created, right? But I want you to keep in mind that in order to do all that stuff, you need to have a vision. You need to know who you want to be and your why. And if you have any limiting beliefs, to circle back to that exercise that I shared with you, because your belief system is the foundation. So Naz, that's all I have at the moment. Do you have anything else that you want to add before we get into Q&A?
I just feel like sharing something that I know both of us are super excited. It's because I feel like the ladies in this group are super motivated and they're just ready for more, then I just want us to give that to them. So if you stick around here in our Facebook group, we will be interacting with you, giving you some more motivation so that you are just getting that accountability. And we wanted to also share with you that we're building this amazing membership, and it is a 12-month membership. And that is not only me and Jeannie, that is actually also with another coach who is a functional medicine practitioner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and she is also a hormone specialist. So you will want to be in this group. So the reason why I am sharing this right now, we're still putting pieces together and we're launching this for January, is because you have that in you already. So you had that little, little push in there, and now you're just going to escalate. And when you join this group, you're gonna love it. There's gonna be much more. There's more accountability. There's more lessons every single day. Every single week, and then you'll be receiving a ton of information that you can start utilizing every day. And so imagine yourself in this group with 3 coaches that you can interact with different skills that we put together. The strategies that we actually have used with our one-to-one clients. So it's not that we're not working with one-to-one clients anymore, but we just realized that, oh my goodness, we can help so many more women all at once. And then that accountability, being in that group and that community, feeling, like belonged, feeling loved, and that you're not alone in this. And whichever stage you are in your wellness, in your health goals, in your fitness goals, whichever stage you are, you're welcome, because there's going to be a big group and it's going to be amazing. And so stick around and we will share that details with you. And we will also be sharing a little gift here there for our 21 Sugar Detox clients. So yeah, I'm just excited. I can't wait.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited too. And a lot of us, you know, we really work well when we're a community and that support. So we truly believe in this being something that we can continue on just providing and serving and helping the women in our community, and just putting out, you know, just not only knowledge, but just giving you that motivation just because we know and we believe in you all. So this would be a great opportunity for you if you're looking for that accountability in the long term, right? So more on that, but definitely stick around in the Facebook group. We will be having some post strategy sessions together as well, you know, where we're again not leaving you hanging. And, you know I left some time for questions, and I want you to put in the comments if you have any questions about this entire challenge, how you're feeling. You know, maybe you haven't been feeling so good, and maybe you have encountered some roadblocks. And we just want to tell you that that's okay to go through that. And sometimes people, you know, life happens and, you know, we get too busy and we get, you know, thrown off a little bit. So these recordings, they're not going anywhere. You do have access to them. And so we'll have that in the Facebook group. You'll be able to have all the recordings. We will have an email. We'll put all the recordings there so that you can see everything. But yeah, always come back to that. And we're here for you. And we're going to keep this group open. If you do have any other questions or anything that you want to reach out to us about, we are super happy to be there for you.
Amazing. I'm so excited to hear back from you ladies. So don't forget to comment, and maybe you want to send us a message, anything. It's open. Coach Catalyst is still open, so you can reach out to Jeannie and I, or post something on Facebook group, comment, still share your food, share so that you can feel that accountability. Because sometimes, especially I think I'm like that as well. When I'm in the group and I share, little wins here and there, you get like, oh yes, I'm sharing my win. You want to put it out there. It feels good to get a little bit of feedback, especially from women who are, doing the same thing as you. So we'd love to encourage you to keep doing that. Keep going. We're here.
Awesome. Well, Naz, thanks for, like this has been incredible, and I'm really going to be, sad to see the 3 weeks go, and it's been awesome having these workshops, but thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Naz. Thank you, everyone, so much. It's been a great 3 weeks, and I'm feeling good. I've been feeling like, like just removing the added sugar ourselves, like we are feeling good. Hope you are too.
Yes.
All right. I'll see you guys in the Facebook group.